getting loaded right now and taking this moment to make myself a peanut butter sandwich. Curtain is bugging me. I know some people like to like separate their living area from their driving area, but I like to have it as wide open as possible. It makes me feel less claustrophobic. I had a location in the city that was not actually too difficult to get to because thankfully it's like right off of Pulaski, which is a pretty major vein for like the industrial part of the city on the west side. So anything that's right off Pulaski is usually pretty easy to get to. One thing I love about being in Chicago and even like working in Chicago, even though it's really difficult, it can be stressful when you're in a huge vehicle, is I love city people, and after being a working person in the city, you see a different side of people and you recognize that there's a lot of blue collar people that work really hard and are like totally down to help each other all the time, and it's fucking cool as shit. And there's people that are assholes, but they tend to be the exceptions. You find a lot of really people who are eager to help, because our jobs a lot of times are kind of mundane and repetitive, and like the people that you interact with sort of lift you up a little bit, and I feel that from other people that I interact with, and it's really cool. I love that shit. Oh, that's so good. It's so nice and cold. I love vitamin water, even though it's like sugar water. But this morning I had to drop off a loaded trailer, which was supposed to be dropped off last night. Wasn't told that there was a deadline on it and that the place I was dropping it to closed after a certain point, and I don't know how I would have gotten there unless I had gone straight through without stopping once, and I needed a fuel stop. I'm not mad at myself about that. They didn't mention to me, and I didn't see it in the notes. I'm still getting used to, one of the things I have a hard time with is there are multiple interfaces to consult to like get a job done. So there's like an app, there's the PC, Qualcomm, which is, I want to say it's dog shit, but that would be an insult to dog shit. There's the physical paperwork, and you're like sitting there asking yourself, like, am I doing all of the things I need to do in order to accomplish the task and get paid? Because sometimes you're just not sure, and it's kind of stressful. But one thing that really helped me out earlier, though, is the lot that I had to drop off my loaded trailer in, they gave me a door that was really difficult to back into. It was something I wasn't feeling quite prepared for, and fortunately, actually this guy helped me more than once. So one of our drivers, who turns out to be only as experienced as me, but definitely much more on the ball than I am, and no shame, I mean, we all have different skill sets and talents, right? He's a third generation truck driver. His name's Hunter. Hello, Hunter. I told him I'd shout him out because damn, he helped me so much. Like from the beginning, he came up behind me because he came in like right after me, and he saw me. Where the fuck is this butternut? There it is. This location, even though you're normally never supposed to take your own seal off of something, they want you to take the seal off, and they have these like broken ass bolt cutters that are sitting on this table outside the shipping and receiving window, and it's a metal seal, and it's really difficult to cut off if you don't have the right tool. So I'm starting to fuck with it, and I'm seeing that this shit is not gonna just cut off. This is gonna be a bitch. And this guy just walks right up and like just takes the tool and like cuts the fucking wire, and it's just a little pair of wire cutters, like no big deal. And I was like, oh man, thank you so much. And started chatting and whatnot, and then I got to he ended up having to drop his trailer and get unloaded. Actually, I was doing drop and hook and he was getting unloaded, and they put him in the door right next to mine. So of course then the door I was going to need to get into was even tougher to get into, because then he was sitting there. So I was like, I went up to him, I'm like, yo, I'm a newer driver, can you help me out, because like I'm gonna have a hard time getting in this door? And he's like, yep, no problem. And he got himself backed in, and then he helped me. And it was really nice because he was super nice about it. I told him right away, I was like, you really should be an instructor, because you could tell he enjoys it. And he said not only is he a third generation trucker, his dad and grandfather, but his mom is a teacher. And I'm like, well, shit, there you go, you know? I love meeting other people who enjoy teaching, because I also am a natural teacher. I'm just not good enough at trucking skills to teach other people. I think that was a good example of that. Again, I'm not beating myself up for that at all, because number one, it could be partly that maybe it's a less intuitive skill set for me, which is fine, but also I've been going from one place to another and having a totally mixed bag of instruction. So it's like when you've had that, where you've been like taught by people who were not good instructors, clearly, and then you've been taught by a handful of like couple few really good ones, you know, it's like your experience hasn't been streamlined and you haven't learned in the best way that you could. So whatever. Thanks, Hunter. You are a lifesaver. He made everything much more quick and efficient, even though it still took me a goddamn eternity to get out of that lot. And because he was so nice, I'll forgive him for talking shit about Chicago, because you know what, man? When people talk shit about Chicago, I try to just have compassion for the fact that usually it's people who have never lived in Chicago, or if they have, they've lived in really specific areas that are usually like right outside the city or on the edges of the city. I feel like when you live in Chicago for long enough, you see it as a small city, even though it's a big city, but it feels smaller and it feels more familiar, and you feel like you could just be walking down the street and have a random one-off conversation with a stranger and maybe never talk to them again. But there's this sort of like familiarity and like, what's the word I'm looking for? I love Chicago. You can talk shit about Chicago, but most of the time I'm going to figure that you just don't know what you're talking about. And that's why you're saying that. I'm not really going to take it to heart, because I know Chicago is the shit. Hooray, peanut butter sandwich. One of the things that's really hard is that now that I'm not stopping at retail, the store that I was, the account I was on before, I'm running out of food, and I knew that would be an issue. I would stop in that store. I mean, I'd go inside the store to use the bathroom a lot, and I would shop in that store like once or twice a week, and it made my life so much easier, because it's like, oh, I need to buy another couple gallons of water, I need to buy more vitamin water, I need to buy some produce, you know. And it was like always having that stuff easy access, and now that I don't have that, it's hard. I know I need to shop better, I need to buy more stuff on the weekend when I'm home, whenever I'm home. I'm running out of everything, and I'm hoping that I end up near some place that I can stop today. We'll see. But after this, I'm heading up to Wisconsin. I've been spending a lot of time in Wisconsin this week, so at least I'm getting used to it. And, you know, thankful for a little help from my friends. Thanks again, Hunter. You're awesome. Chicago's awesome. Sorry you don't know it. You just don't know us yet. This is a good morning video in cinematic mode. What a perfect place to stop by these morning glories. I wanted to say these glorious morning glories. I just love them so much. This is just a fly just chilling on this morning glory. It looks dead. Looks like a good place to go, you know, if you gotta go. If you can shrink yourself down and die in a gorgeous flower, I don't see why that's such a shame. I'm on my home time. I go back tomorrow. Today is Sunday, and I'm headed down by the beach to do my breathing exercises and take a little swim. The water's starting to get nice and cold, which is my preferred temperature in the lake. I am really grateful because my manager got me home on Friday early in the day after much squeaky wheel complaining last week about the fact that, you know, I wanted them to honor what was promised, or assured, I should say, by the recruiter. And obviously, you know, I think when you're talking to people like that who are in charge of your schedule, it's really important to keep it present in your mind that those people are also under tons of pressure, and they're also not probably getting paid a ton of money. It's like I was saying at the previous job, it's like everybody on the totem pole below the people at the top is under a bunch of pressure. So it's not like they're trying to fuck you. It's like they are getting assessed based on how many loads they can get out of you and how little time, you know. I'm just really grateful. I'm glad I stood up for myself, because it worked. It really helped. And I don't know that this would continue like for any ongoing period of time. In any case, I anticipate that if things go the way I want them to, there aren't going to be too many more weeks of trucking, period, because I've already made up my mind that I'm ready to. I feel like I should take my sunglasses off. Like I've said before, I feel like it's rude. I've made up my mind that I'm going to leave trucking for sure. And the number one reason, which I'll talk about more in another video, I said to myself and in these videos from the beginning, that if I decide that maybe I didn't say it in videos exactly, but I've said it to a lot of people close to me, if this ends up being too hard on my body and I don't feel like I can maintain my health to a basic standard, then I'm not going to stay with it. I'm switching hands because I don't like to advertise for the business that I'm walking past. The religious entity that sucked away my childhood, or helped to. So, you know, after seeing in a short period of time the impacts on my spinal health, my postural issues exacerbating, chronic pain exacerbating, the exhaustion, the mental experience of the isolation, even just in a matter of a few months, I can feel how it's changed me, and how I think the number one conclusion that I came to, and I was having this conversation with my best friend last night, is that it's not like it just is going to magically get better, you know? And it's hard on the old ego to admit when you try to do something that was really hard and you weren't able to stay with it. But I don't count it as a failure, because by any means, because I did this whole thing that was so far outside of my comfort zone and pushed myself in ways I haven't really ever done before, and I feel super proud of myself. And I also feel proud of myself that I have the sense to know when to call it, because my health matters to me more than literally anything else. There's nothing else I can do in my life to the fullest if I sacrifice my health. And I don't want to live a life that depends on somehow seeking medical treatment that isn't affordable in the country that I live in, or living on medications, or living with more chronic pain than I already have for something that isn't a fair or intelligent exchange. So that's the conclusion I've reached. And now we go to the beach. I just have to take a minute to share. The beach is especially incredible today, and it feels like the whole neighborhood is here, because I think everyone is like, summer's almost over, we gotta get it while we can, you know? This is my new phone, which is a iPhone 14, and I can already see the difference. I'm like, whoa, this looks crazy. But now you see the skyline behind me. Can I zoom facing this way? No, I can't. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. This is just, that's a random cement pole that has someone stood up. It moves, it ends up in different places on different days. People are here with their dogs. There's older people, there's college kids, there's just randos, there's some challenged individuals, we'll just say, different cultures hanging out together, chilling. The vibes are high vibes, not like high as in like stoned, but like high, elevated, kind, good sentiment, enjoying the last days of summer in harmony. That's the way it feels at the beach today, and I just wanted to take a moment to share these beautiful beach vibes with you. It doesn't get better than this, folks. It really doesn't. Good morning and a happy Monday to you. I got a case of the Mondays, and by that I just mean what an annoying kind of Monday it is so far, which this is pretty much par for the course on Mondays, I've discovered, where I'm working, which is that I have to pick up an empty from our yard that I start out of in Indiana, and there's never an easy empty to be found. And apparently there's somewhere in our company's app that you can locate one, and I don't know where that is, and I need to ask somebody, because this is crazy shit. After checking a bunch of trailers that had no seals, opening the doors, finding that they were loaded, finding a trailer I thought was a good one, then it had a kingpin lock on it, turns out it's been sold. Then find another one, start hooking up to it, actually back up under the kingpin and get latched up, and then notice that there's an out of service tag on the airlines. I'm just like, and that was one that I had called dispatch, and they gave me that as one of the possible available trailers. I'm just like, goddamn, it's been an hour and a half since my time started for, not my clock, but since I said I would be ready to start. It's been about an hour into my clock now. My day is getting eaten by something so dumb as not being able to find an empty trailer just to get started. So that's the kind of shit you deal with in trucking. TM. Have a great day. Week. I haven't really been filming much. I wanted to show you guys these crazy, incredible cloud formations. I pulled off really quick at this rest area. I'm in Iowa to take my 30-minute. I haven't been filming very much because I have had a hard time with AirDrop, so I'm like behind in videos because I can't, when I do have time, which is not often, I can't edit any video because I can't get it onto my laptop from my phone. I don't know why my AirDrop hasn't been working. I need to call customer service and find out. But anyway, it's been a weird week. My mom has been in the hospital. It's been really stressful. There's a whole story behind it, but she broke her wrist and couldn't immediately get treated for it. So she's been in severe pain for like 6 days, and she finally had surgery yesterday, and it's been really stressful. And I've been really worried about her and feeling like just being out here in my truck in my own world, isolated from life, you know, like I'm not able to be there for her. And it's like, also there's a simultaneous side thing that I won't get into that whole story, but years ago she moved far away from the rest of the family. Now everybody lives far apart, but I've always felt some type of way about the whole moving away thing. And now when it comes to a situation where I feel like I need to be there, it puts me in a spot where I have to, like, do I uproot my life to go help her because she's my mom and she's the only mom I have? What do I do? Like, she might need that kind of help, you know? So I'm really kind of struggling with that. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how my life might change as a result of what was really like kind of a freak accident. It was like she took a fall and just fell the wrong way and broke her fucking wrist, man, really badly. She works still, and her job involves using her hands. So I don't know what is going to happen going forward. I don't know if I'm going to end up using this video and sharing this story because it's kind of personal, but I think it's relatable though, because when I think anyone who wants to do something like trucking, it consumes so much of your life, you may not be able to be there for things. And so then you have to ask yourself what your priorities are, because if you're doing it so that you can provide for your family but you can't be with your family, is it worth it to you? And some people, the answer is yes. And then of course there are a variety of different job options you can do. Like, some people find working locally, if they have family, to be a better option. I don't have immediate family. All I have is my parents and my younger brother, and everybody lives so far away. So I don't know. That's the latest. I miss making videos. I really want to make another video soon. Okay, I just want to share how excited I am to take a good pilot shower. After yesterday, taking a shower in the most disgusting truck stop ever. Shower had the most gnarly mildew smell of all time. And I know you would be like, why did you use that shower? Well, because I really wanted a shower. I wanted that pain relief. At least there was some hot water, even though the pressure was terrible. Oh, this shower is gonna have good pressure, I'll tell you right now. So excited. So excited. Pilot shower, baby. The best. I don't know when or if this video will be uploaded, because I can't do anything with video until I figure out my airdrop situation. But I officially signed the acceptance letter or the letter accepting the offer letter. I don't even know how to talk because words. I'm very tired after many hours of driving. To go back to my old bartending gig in Chicago, and I'm not like stoked to go back to bartending by any means, because I know that it'll be like awesome to see people again, but then, and it'll be nice to make cash again. I am looking forward to that part of it. But very soon, probably within the first shift, I'll be like, oh, I'm doing this again, you know? And it gets very boring and repetitive when you've done it for as long as I have. Not that I've done it forever, but long enough, you know? It's not challenging anymore once you're good at like mentally absorbing bullshit and like deflecting. Like, the only thing that's stressful about it is like, what placement will I get within the venue? Will I make enough money on a shift? There's a lot of competition, and that's the part that's hard for me, because it's like a mental game of like not getting too attached to things. But like, as far as dealing with customer bullshit, that fucking rolls right off of me. I don't get fazed by it at all. I kind of laugh at most of the antics of customers. But yeah, I just got my second regular paycheck after the training paycheck at this job. Long story short, the money is nowhere near sufficient for the number of hours and the labor that I've been doing, and it is a good time to walk away, because I'm having so many issues with pain because of the lack of movement involved in this job, and just so many aspects of it, and I don't feel the least bit ashamed or like a failure for walking away. I feel like I'm just advocating for myself and caring about myself, and that's something I'm proud of. So I am another statistic of the high turnover rate in trucking, and there's this little part of me that's like, oh man, it would be nice if I could just do like a run a week, which I do think about, because I love trucking. It's kind of, you know, there's aspects of it I love. What I don't love is the industry itself. Trucking is fun. The challenges are fun to me. I love driving trucks. I love maneuvering trucks. I love interacting with people. I love that every time I've been in a jam, pretty much every time, there's been another truck driver that has immediately stepped in to help. Today was no exception. I had to do a drop and hook in a really tight lot. As soon as I pulled into the lot, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be not fun. It was a General Mills yard in Iowa. And I chose a spot that I knew there was a reason why that spot was still available to drop off my empty. Of course, I got myself into a sticky situation. I was like literally probably 2 inches away from the trailer next to me. And it was one of those things where, due to my inexperience, I'm sure other people have had this happen, where you're trying to back in a tight spot and you think that you think that if I do this, I'm going to get farther away from this trailer that I'm too close to, but you end up wedging yourself in closer and closer. That's what I was doing today. And then I stopped when I was at a point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make this better if I keep fucking doing this. So let me get out. I was trying to grab a yard driver to be like, hey, can you help me? But he ended up going too far away. And then another truck driver came through who was going to do the same, do a drop and hook also, I assume. And he was like, hey, you need help? And I was like, yeah, I do. I'm kind of stuck here. So he looked at it. He stood in front of me. He directed me. He was a young guy, probably younger than me. But he told me exactly what to do. I followed him exactly, and I got right out of it. And it was just awesome. And it's like, you run into those situations almost every time you're struggling. If there's another driver around, 9 times out of 10, they're going to help you. And I think it's partly because people take pride in like being able to help someone, you know. And it's not just because I'm a girl. It's because people in this industry, there are plenty of dicks who drive like shit and act like shit. Some guy flipped me off today because he was trying to get onto the highway, driving a tanker, going way too fast. And I got out of his way, and then I needed to get back over because I needed to exit right in front. And he got pissed because he didn't want to slow down because he was trying to fly onto the highway, which was his bad. And my thought process is always, you have fucking brakes, use them. Like, if you're going that fast to enter onto the highway and you just expect everyone else to get out of your way, you're in the fucking wrong. That's my opinion. So I flipped him off back. I don't do that too often, but today I was on one. Anyway, you have those moments, you know, we all have them. I don't flip people off too often. I try to avoid that kind of behavior because it's a low self. It's your lower self. Like, I try to rise above my temper, mood, whatever. But, you know, yes, I would say the majority of other people out there are happy to help you when you're in a jam. So yeah, I've enjoyed this journey. I don't think it's going to be a thing that I never drive a truck again, because I really like driving trucks, and who knows how it'll manifest in the future. But I know that I'm about to be taking probably a very long hiatus, but I'm walking away from yet another trucking job, 3rd one in a row, and walking away from this industry because I think I deserve better. I can make the same amount of money I've been making working a fraction of the hours and not beating the shit out of my body. So there's so much more I could say, but I'm going to leave it at that for this particular rant. Good morning. It's kind of a stupid morning so far. I made myself my delicious oatmeal. It's got a bunch of dried fruit and nuts and a dollop of peanut butter in there, and of course a sprinkle of sea salt and some honey. I like to dress it up. It's really good. It doesn't look great, but it tastes amazing. Yeah, this morning is kind of stupid. Ooh, it turned a little gluey though. That's never great. Yeah, this morning ended up stupid because I don't know why this happened, but they routed me back to my home base early. So the way it worked out is I'm not supposed to be here in Indiana until tomorrow morning or late tonight, one of the two. And that way it works out with the amount of home time they want me to have, so I can start on Monday morning. Instead, they got me back here for Thursday night. So today is Friday morning. I'm really frustrated because I got up and I'm ready to roll. And that to me is the most frustrating feeling, when you want to work and you're ready on time when you expect to be working, and then there's no work for you. I hate that. And it makes me feel kind of bad about myself, because it's like, well, you don't have anything else you can do. There's always other things. Actually, I would edit video today, because I finally was able to do some airdrop last night. It's just annoying. It's like, I don't know. This is trucking. This is what trucking is. It's like, you are just a tool. Your time is not valuable to them. You only matter to them insofar as what you can do for them when they want it, when they need it. And when it's something that is for your own benefit, they could give a shit, you know. And this is not just a woe is me at all. It's a universal experience. Being a company driver, this is why it kind of sucks, because you're at the mercy of these dispatchers and at their needs, and your needs come last. So I don't mean to sound like, oh, it's so terrible. It's just annoying, and it's like a waste of my time, and it's not respecting my time. So it's now 8:40. I told them I would be ready to roll at 8 a.m. I was ready by 7:30 to like start getting ready to pre-trip and everything. I was good to go. And then they're like, sorry, we don't have any freight for you, sad face. Send me a sad emoticon, because in their app there's no emojis, which is a real failing in my opinion. So now I'm sitting here, my thumb up my ass with my new persistent pain issue. It's right here. It's like underneath my rib cage. It hurts all the time. It fucking hurts all the time. I feel like I haven't been filming enough video. It's like I'm out of practice. I just gotta say, I love the way this video quality looks on this new iPhone. I never am a person to get a new iPhone when it comes out. I think that's usually a terrible idea. And this phone, one of the weird things about it already is it overheats like a motherfucker. And I Googled it, and of course it's a common problem. You never want to get the brand new technology when it first comes out, because that's before they've worked out the kinks, you know? And I just don't want to on principle. Like, I don't want to be one of those people that's like, I gotta have the new thing, because it's like, I feel like it's feeding into the planned obsolescence of the old thing. Anyway, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, I love driving. I'm like, my truck is already pre-tripped. I have my fucking coffee and my oatmeal made, and I'm like ready to rock and or roll. And I can do neither of those things. I mean, I'm always rocking on the inside, but I'm not rolling, clearly, because I'm fucking standing here yammering. And I would really love to be running down the road toward something. Shit's annoying, man. This is the kind of shit you got to deal with. Like, hurry up and wait, or just hurry up all the time. And I don't know. I'm annoyed. Fuck this. So I got back from being on the road all week and got back to my car to find it had been badly keyed. Like, someone keyed the fuck out of it. The hood, a quarter panel, and a door. And of course, you almost don't want to tell people that when something like that happens, because you're worried that they're going to be like, well, what did you do to piss someone off, you know? And I can't think of anything that could have led to that. So I don't know what to think. I'm really disappointed. It's like, what a week. I lost a day of work this week for reasons that have nothing to do with me. My mom has been in the hospital and had a really negative experience there. And then I come back from all that, and I'm trying to keep my head up, and my car is damaged for reasons I don't understand. And it's just like, damn, this week is, it's one of those weeks, I guess, you know? So chalk it up to that. Try real hard to stay positive and know that, like, I try to do the zoom out thing and think, a year from now, are you going to be like that stressed about it? Money stress, but we're all feeling it right now, you know? So whatever. So let me take this moment to talk about perspective. This is one of those times, like many times, where I have to kind of dig deep, because it feels like a lot of things are sort of coming down at the same time. And I always have this narrative in the back of my mind whenever I feel like that, or talk about feeling like that, or talk about my problems, where I'm trying to find the balance between, I think it's good to not be, you know, have that toxic positivity, like, well, it could be worse, you know, you could be in prison, or like, you know, it's like, it's okay to acknowledge that things are shitty. I love that shit. if you're gonna do graffiti, do a cock and balls, because at least then you make people laugh while you're defacing a building. God, that's great. See, you gotta find the levity. You gotta find the levity. So like, you know, I want to acknowledge that I'm really bummed about my car, especially because I love my car and it's a lease. I don't own it. It's not mine. It belongs to a bank. But I take pride in taking care of what I do have. And then what happened with my mom is really upsetting. And she fell. She broke her wrist really badly. Ended up needing a plate and screws in her wrist. Was unable to get the surgery for 6 days. And she was in severe pain. I've never heard her that distressed, and it was very, very upsetting to hear her going through that. I had to stop to say hi to 3 cute little dachshunds, little weenies. I just love them. Cox weenies. It's that kind of video, huh? Anyway, so it was really, really hard to hear my mom going through that while I feel like I'm far away and there's nothing I can do. And like I talked about in another clip, that's one of those real significant challenges of driving trucks when you're away from your family and you feel like you're just in this, like, it's like being in a weird purgatory world where you're away from everything and away from everyone, and it's like you're a ghost, you know? And I just started getting into this. It's not like people like my dad who lived a life for 20 years. You must really feel like you're just in the vapor, you know, like people forget that you're there almost. And so I want to just talk about real quick coping with stress. Ooh, pretty flowers. And you know, the difference between my current self and my past self, who would have wanted to get fucked up, like get high or get drunk. And I still have those like thoughts flit through my mind. Not drinking, because I don't want to drink anymore. That doesn't even show up on my radar most of the time, but I definitely think, man, it'd be good to get stoned, you know? It feels good to be able to be like, I don't want to just avoid the feelings. I just want to like move through them as gracefully as I can. So that's a different kind of mindset, and it's a better kind of mindset to have. It's healthier, it feels better. It doesn't feel like being defeatist. It feels like accepting that hard things happen, and sometimes you have to like reach inside yourself and find ways to just deal with the hard things and not avoid them, not avoid your feelings. And then on top of it, to perspective, put it in perspective. Like, is it going to matter to you that much a year from now? Are you going to be thinking about it? Money comes and goes. Losing money is the story of my life. I've never had any to lose, and I probably never will. It's just looking up podcast microphones. A friend of mine who's done sound says I have to spend thousands of dollars to have, like, just for a microphone. Like, he told me that there's some mics that cost 30 grand or something. So I'm like, okay, so you're telling me I'm gonna have to spend what, 5 grand to have a mic that works at all? Like, no, I don't know. That was really discouraging to hear. Like, that's how my family has always been. Like, oh, you want to do something cool? Well, it's not gonna work. I can start a podcast with a mic that doesn't cost 30 grand or 5 grand, maybe 1 grand, maybe a little bit less, who knows? But I'm not giving up. I'm not gonna give up, because life is full of possibilities and surprises. And sometimes the surprise is a keyed car, but sometimes it's something good. So who knows? You know, who knows what might happen?